Okay, this is something that I've personally heard, and I suppose I'm biased, so there's a bit of an axe to grind for me. But I've heard people say I tried neurofeedback, it didn't work. I tried biofeedback, it didn't work. The whole concept of biofeedback is that your brain controls your entire body through the central nervous system. The central nervous system is a series of conduits with electrical signals. Those signals and pathways move in a predictable and consistent pattern and or direction. The way that biofeedback works is there are certain things that the body does in response to the way the brain triggers it. You know, the whole, well, maybe you're not familiar with this, but the whole thing, like when people are trained in interrogation, you know, when people are, right, looking up to the left or they're looking up to the right, right, in one direction, they're recalling actual historical factual information, whereas when they look in the other direction, they're generating or creating the idea. In other words, one's the truth and one's a lie. And that's just really the most simple explanations of biofeedback that I can think of. Neurofeedback, which is the ultimate goal I have for my clients that can work with me one-on-one, is to get them on EEG-led neurofeedback. And that's just a specific form of biofeedback. What we're doing, everything that I do is rewiring the stress response. Neurofeedback is a powerful tool for any type of brain neurological irregularity. Neurofeedback is going to show your conscious brain what's happening on a subconscious level so that your brain can see it instantly 10 times per second and fix it. And what's amazing is, first of all, that your brain does fix it, but that's because everybody's brain wants to fix it. Healing is inherent. The other cool thing is how fast it happens. As soon as your brain starts to realize, hey, like, I think you're trying to get me to go this direction, it'll start cooperating because you're in control. You're ultimately in control of all of those subconscious, unconscious processes. As soon as your brain starts to see that, it'll say, okay, would you like me to do this? And then as soon as it's validated that that change is good, then your brain immediately recognizes it as good and does it even more, or does it better, does it more efficiently, which is what your brain is designed to do. So one of the ways I've come from a background of being a personal trainer. I've trained people my whole life. You know, I trained people. I did, you know, I worked with the homeless, where we worked with people, you know, who just had life issues. You know, they were struggling with money. A lot of times they were struggling with drugs. I did a lot of work with people with drug work, rehabilitation, you know, addictive type behavior. I was a personal trainer, life coach. You know, I work with people to reorganize their body and organize their life in a productive and healthy way, and had my own set of challenges, which brought me to having to learn how to deal with the stress response in my own life because it was eating my lunch. But really, a lot of the techniques and processes overlap because it's just how your body works. Healing is inherent. Your body wants to heal. You just have to create the right environment for that to happen. But that being said, the type of brain training that I do is working with the whole brain. I'm familiar with other types of brain training. I've studied, I've practiced NLP, cognitive behavioral therapy, entrainment therapy. and some others that probably aren't quite as popular. What I've seen is, like anything else in life, anything like religion or politics, people tend to polarize. As soon as they find something that works, they'll tend to perpetuate a behavior that acts like that's the only thing that works, or they'll hyper evangelize that, like everybody has to do this. And though I do get very exciting about new modalities when I find out that they work, especially when I find out that they work and understand the science that's behind them. But something I've always tried to resist and I feel somewhat proud of is that I've always been able to stay open-minded towards other modalities. Um, and that's really why I've been so successful with this program, is because it's not just based on this one thing and insisting that this is right, and more than that, not insisting that everything else is wrong. Bottom line is, though, we do brain training. We establish the way that your mind works, the way you're approaching life, that that you have a clear mindset and foundation for the healing to take place. And then as we begin to work with the brain, specifically patterns in the brain, we treat the brain just like I treated the body when I was a personal trainer. We treat it as a complex process of overlapping or interconnecting processes, which is exactly what it is. So many of these other modalities, though they work or get results in certain situations, they only address one part of the brain or one system or one pattern. The challenge with that isn't that it's effective or right or wrong. The challenge with that is that's not the way the brain works. Even the simplest decisions or movements that you do, your brain fires multiple locations and systems simultaneously before you move forward with that decision. In the case of the stress response, everybody likes to go to the amygdala because that's the fear center. Well, that's true. And even like in the case of neurofeedback, I hear a lot of work being done now with alpha training. And the idea with that is that they're trying to increase more alpha, because a brain that's in alpha state can't be reactive or stressful or fearful. And that's absolutely true. So addressing alpha is certainly going to help most anybody, but it's not going to clear all the symptoms away for everybody. So, hey, get out of there, please. Hey. Treating the brain as a whole system is the same way we used to treat the body as a whole system. If you went to a trainer and you said, look, I want to be sexier. Guys, want to be stronger, great abs, right? Look good with your shirt off. The truth is, girls want to look great in their bikini or whatever, right? But in both cases, because I was a trainer, I know most everybody wants great abs. And the symbol or sign or whatever of a person who's in great shape is a person who has great abs, great abdominals, right? If you were to go to a personal trainer and every day all you did is work on abs, it wouldn't take you long. You'd be like, hey, what the heck here? I'm paying you, right, for my time. I'm paying you to motivate, exercise, and get me results, and we're only working on abs. As crazy as that sounds, that's the exact same way that nearly everybody approaches working with the brain. They only work on one thing, and then God forbid that one thing works well a couple of times, well then that's the answer to everything. Again, that's not how the brain works. We call it whole brain training because that's exactly what we do. We train the whole brain. So when I hear people say things like, I tried neurofeedback and it didn't work, that is as absurd as saying, I tried exercise, it didn't work. Now, is it possible that that person went to a place, paid for neurofeedback, had a certain set of symptoms, and the neurofeedback that they did had no effect on their symptoms? Absolutely. I know for a fact, at firsthand, I know I've experienced that actually. So I know that that happens. But also as a personal trainer, I've experienced and seen people who wanted specific results, went and did a particular form of exercise, and their body was exercising and they didn't get the results that they wanted. But that's because the approach wasn't encompassing or holistic, right? Number one. And number two, the exercise wasn't the type of exercise that they need. That's the difference between, just somebody that got a personal training certificate off the internet and somebody who actually knows what they're doing. The same thing's true with brain training. I'm sure there are people out there who are in pretty good shape and just working on abs is really all they want. And, if they went to that particular trainer, would feel like they got success. It doesn't mean that that trainer is lousy or that that trainer can't help anybody. But it does mean that that trainer is not going to help everybody. So I just want to make that distinction for you guys. If you've heard, yeah, I tried biofeedback, I tried neurofeedback. Neurofeedback is a form of biofeedback. It's just specifically with the brain, neuro, right? And it's frustrating to me because it's what I do, right? And I'm excited about it. It was life-changing for me. So I hate it when I hear people say, I tried neurofeedback, it didn't work. Though I don't think they're lying, right? Because subjectively, that's what happened to them. My point is, it's just like saying I tried exercise, it didn't work. Exercise absolutely works. Neurofeedback absolutely works. There's no way for it not to. The brain is constantly changing, whether you do anything or not. It's constantly adapting and molding and reshaping and, and malleable and stretching and moving. That never stops. Neurofeedback provides you with the ability for your conscious brain to see what's happening on the subconscious, unconscious level. And because it's aware, it's able to focus, manipulate, or control the way that changing and molding is happening. So you see what I'm saying? There's no way for neurofeedback not to quote unquote work. Now, does it address the symptoms that you want it to address? That is another question. And I would argue that's why you need to work with a practitioner who does whole brain training, or more specifically, is an expert at addressing the particular issue that you have. Truthfully, neurofeedback was developed to treat epilepsy. I don't work with people who have seizures. It's not because I can't get them great results. It's because that's not where my heart is. That's not the journey that's brought me here. I specialize in stress response because that's what I'm excellent at. We get neurofeedback gets great results with people on the spectrum. Neurofeedback gets great results for other things. Migraine. Matter of fact, biofeedback and neurofeedback both have. Hey, stop it. Neurofeedback, biofeedback both have lots of studies. I mean, I'm aware of probably 100 or more studies that validate that biofeedback, neurofeedback are extremely effective at treating migraine. You know what? I'm going to make another video about that. But my point is, there's lots of things that neurofeedback can work on. But you want to work with somebody who's doing who's treating the whole brain because that's just how the brain works, and somebody who specializes in specifically dealing with the symptoms that you have. So let's go back to the personal trainer analogy. Somebody could be excellent at yoga. There's a specific certification as a personal trainer for yoga. Not all not all personal trainers are yoga instructors. There's another certification for, for Pilates. There's another certification for specific sports, speed and agility, right? Versus just hypertrophy training, which is just getting bigger muscles. And though all those people who would be a trainer in all those situations would have to be a certified trainer, they absolutely specialize, just like doctors, in their area that they focus on. So, what I was saying, neurofeedback didn't work. I tried that, it didn't work. Exercise didn't work. I tried that, it didn't work. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. You just didn't have the right trainer. You didn't have the right type of program. So I hope that unfolded some new information for you, maybe put a new wrinkle in your brain. I think it's very excited. I'm going to keep rolling out information for you guys. Please, if you need help, reach out. If you talk to me, we're going to talk about where you're at with your stress response. We're going to talk about where you want to be. And if we can figure out a way to bridge that gap, we're going to show you how to do that. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.